Assalamu alaikum, hello. Welcome to this video about Ramadan and Eid in Morocco, and yeah. So, my name is Dylan, and I am a Peace Corps volunteer serving here in Morocco, and I hope that this video can give a little bit of insight about Ramadan and what it's like here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Ramadan and Eid, and I'm going to talk you through a day in my life. So yeah. So I am up bright and early, around 5 a.m. because it is time for suhoor, which is the meal that we have before dawn. And the purpose of that is to, get filled and get all the nutrients and everything that you need before a day of fasting. So you have to break up early, cook it, and then eat all before dawn. So yeah. Okay, so for my suhoor meal, I got my handy water bottle, of course, because I'm gonna need that if I'm gonna stay hydrated for the whole day. I also got some dates and almonds, tamar loose. Almonds are just great nut. Protein and healthy fats and everything, hopefully to keep me full throughout the day. And dates are also very nutrient dense, and dates are very traditional during Ramadan. They have, a lot of people break their fast with a date, and dates are thought to be, good before a day of fasting. I'll put another tidbit about that in a second. Okay, so quick tidbit about dates. Dates are kind of the traditional way to break your fast during Ramadan, because the Prophet Muhammad would break his fast with a date. So that's kind of what people do. So they have a lot of significance this time of year. And for suhoor, they're a good choice because they're very nutritious, and also I believe that people think that there is, that it's good to eat them for suhoor. And also, I was kind of out of food as well, so I gotta eat what I have. Okay, also, for the main event, I have some spaghetti with olive oil and garlic, which is not that exciting. And I promise that I can cook things that are not super boring and bland. But unfortunately, I am very low on food at the moment. And so I didn't have any veggies or meat or anything to add to it. So this is what we got for the day. Hopefully it'll keep me full throughout the day. Yeah, time to eat. So, Ramadan is the holiest month in Islam. It is believed that during Ramadan, on the night of power, is when the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And so it's a time for Muslims to fast, and it's mandatory to fast from sunrise to sunset. People don't eat or drink anything. But not just during the day, it's a time for spiritual growth in general. So people will abstain from tobacco, caffeine, romantic relationships, whatever kind of thing they think might be holding them back from their relationship with God. So it's a time of self-discipline, spiritual growth, and closeness with God and family. So, after the call to prayer, which you just heard, no more food and water until sunset. But I did want to talk a little bit about that because obviously that's not practical for everybody. So there are exceptions. So people that are sick, obviously you need food to get healthy. So people that are sick don't have to eat. Women that are pregnant or on their periods because again, you need food to stay healthy. And then also people that travel. There's a lot of exceptions kind of to what people in America kind of perceive Ramadan as being very rigid. There's a lot of understanding about people's individual circumstances. You know, your health comes first is kind of the belief around Ramadan. And if you aren't able to fast for those reasons, or whatever other reason, you can make up your fasting days at another time in the year. But yeah, so after the call to prayer, I ended up going back to bed because it was quite early in the morning, and yeah. I also went ahead and did some laundry. Yeah. So yeah, I did end up going to my souk and getting some food and just house supplies. I kind of don't record as much as I should, considering I want to, you know, be making videos. So I'm hoping to get better about that, but yeah. Okay, hello, it's between 5 and 6, so it's the last kind of hour or so before breaking the fast. Definitely very thirsty. That's the hard part. Yeah, so I'm just walking around my town, and then, yeah, and then hopefully I'll go break the fast. So, after sunset is iftar, which is breakfast. And so usually people will go with their families and break the fast together with a big meal. And throughout Ramadan, I got invited to a lot of iftars, partially because I live alone as a Peace Corps volunteer here, and also, you know, there's a big emphasis on welcoming people and including them in iftar. It's believed that if you help somebody break their fast, then you also will, you know, be blessed by that. And so I was really honored to be invited to a lot of iftars. On this particular day, I went to my host families, and we had, we had all our iftar food. Okay, so yeah, in terms of iftar foods, different people in different countries have their own, you know, culinary traditions that they'll use to break the fast. But here in Morocco, pretty much every family has harira, which is a soup, usually with chickpeas and spices, some sort of meat. And then there's other things like shebekia, which is a kind of pastry with honey. Of course, dates and slilo, which is kind of like a nut kind of mixture. And of course, there's tagine and couscous, normal traditional Moroccan dishes. Misamin, harsha. Of course, we have mint tea and coffee as well. So that's just some of the foods for Ramadan. Unfortunately, I did have to leave early, so they gave me a little plate of couscous, of course piled high with vegetables and stuff. So this will probably be my suhoor or my iftar tomorrow. So an iftar can last hours and hours. So usually the sun sets between 6:30 and 7. And so I would stay usually 2 or 3 hours with my host family or with whoever I'm breaking the fast with, spend some time together. And yeah, but it can go all the way to midnight. But on this particular day, I did have to go back to my work at the youth center because the girls' soccer team that I work with, they were doing a tournament. And that's another thing that is common here is pretty much every town will have some sort of soccer tournament. And then also at night, after breaking the fast, people will go to the mosque and they will do Quran recitations called Terawih. And the goal is to get through the entire Quran by the end of the month. And it's really beautiful to hear people, when I'm walking by the mosque or just in my house, hearing people reciting the Quran. It's very beautiful. And then after the youth center, I ended up going to my cafe around midnight, and I was kind of there until late at night with my friends playing cards before heading back, making suhoor for the next day, and then starting all over again. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this quick little look into a day in my life during Ramadan. And yeah, so now I'm going to talk about Eid. So, Eid, or Eid al-Fitr, again, pronunciation is a work in progress, is the kind of holiday or festival at the end of Ramadan. After the month of Ramadan is over, then Eid begins. And so they determine when Eid is based on the moon. And so when scholars or whatever agency in a particular country sees the crescent moon, that indicates the start of the new month. And so here in Morocco, Eid is a 3-day celebration, and it's the celebration of breaking the fast, right? So during Ramadan, it's mandatory to fast, but during Eid, it is forbidden to fast. And so there will be a lot of eating breakfast early in the morning on the first day of Eid, and a lot of praying, of course, too, because, being thankful for the food and, of course, commitment to God and all the spirituality that was developed during Ramadan. So, here in Morocco during Eid, everybody will go to a public place. So in my town, we have a big kind of a square plot of land, and people will pray together. Pretty much everybody will wear their traditional outfits, jalebas, kaftans, whatever it may be. And then people will eat together and visit family, and it's a really kind of exciting and magical time. So for Eid, I was invited over to my host family's house. So I went over and I had some food with them, and I wore my traditional outfit, and you're about to see the fit check of that. And it's just a really fun, exciting time of year. Eid Mubarak, Eid Mubarak Saeed. Here's my fit check for Eid with a little work in progress sneak peek of my room. I got my jaleba, so a kind of heavy winter jaleba from Beni Malal. I'm wearing a little collared shirt underneath because, a little traditional Moroccan and a little American kind of vibe. So nice and classy, traditional enough. And then, of course, I also have my little babouche slippers. So, to kind of complete the fit. And But I hope that you enjoyed this quick little video about Ramadan and Eid, and I hope that you learned something new about Ramadan and Eid in Morocco. And talk to you later. Bislama.